here at the Salazar household, we are extremely excited, even though we haven't taken advantage of it yet. But just recently, the weather has turned and winter is in full force and the temperatures are down below freezing every single night, which means
day.
Mm-hmm. You're right. It is below freezing today, isn't it? And our tub of ice water is in the backyard waiting for us to go and do an ice bath. So we finally have free ice that Mother Nature provided, and we're going to start doing, continue, because we've been doing it all along. But yeah, super exciting. Thank you, winter.
Our shower is also...
yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, we have cold pipes. Our house is not super old, but it's not even really that old. But for whatever reason, it's got extremely cold water, which is also refreshing for those everyday cold showers. And what else? I don't know.
I contributed the pipes.
The pipes. But you're tuning in and listening, and we appreciate it. EnergyIsLovePodcast.com. Also, if you are really a fan, like maybe you tout yourself as a fan of the podcast, which we appreciate, go follow us on Instagram. Super easy to do, right? Everybody knows how to follow somebody on Instagram. And you can go find those links at our website. Also, all the episodes at the website. We would also highly appreciate it if you went and liked the Facebook page, because that's super important and it tells us how worthy we are. But thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in and your continued support of the podcast. So episode 165, I believe this episode was recorded on Halloween, All Hallows Eve, even though we didn't release it in October. And we got into this wonderful conversation about not asshole, I was going to say asshole, about our assholes. The principal at our son's middle school and some issues that we had with an email that he sent out regarding consent and school dances and all sorts of fun stuff that we're very passionate about. Wouldn't you say?
That was very, yeah.
Yeah, very passionate about it. So you guys get to hear our thoughts about those issues and many, many more on this wonderful episode. And we also touch upon at the end some things that we're going to be doing in the future with the podcast. And the year is nearing the end.
The year is nearing the end.
And the end of the year is nearing.
There we go.
Is that more appropriate?
It doesn't feel like... I'm sorry.
And we have forgotten how to talk. My words are fumbly. But here you go, episode 165 of the Energy is Love podcast with Steph and Craig. Here we go.
You're listening to the Energy is Love podcast.
Energy is love.
The Energy is the Love podcast.
The Energy is Love podcast.
Energy is love.
The Energy is Love podcast.
The podcast for the universe.
The Energy is Love podcast.
It reminds me of like a moment when you're like really afraid and you're being quiet and listening and how loud everything, it's like you can hear background noise because you just hone in so much on your hearing.
Yeah. Especially when it's dark.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, shh, hold on. Oh my God, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
You don't like to be afraid, though. Today is Halloween. We're recording on Halloween.
Boo.
You don't like to be afraid, though.
Halloween doesn't scare me. The movie Halloween scares me.
Like on a scale of 1 to 10,
yeah.
How much do you like to be afraid?
I used to love it. I used to love scary movies. I don't know why, but it's changed a bit. I'll still watch them. But now instead of being like, oh, I want a movie to scare me, it's really got to scare me now. I'm like, I don't know. That might really scare me. I don't know if I want to watch that. So it's different. I don't know. I like startles.
Yeah.
Like movies that
make you jump.
I like family members that make you jump. Like when you're,
mm-hmm.
you know, I like startle scares. They're funny.
But what about like really
being afraid?
Yeah.
I don't enjoy being afraid anymore.
I'm trying to decide when the last time I was.
Alaska.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally fucking afraid then. Did I tell you that? I told you that story.
Told me that.
I don't know if I talked about that on the podcast.
I don't know if you talked about it on the podcast.
So I was in Alaska recently. I don't know how recently. It's been a few weeks now. And I was there for a few days. And the guy that I was there working for, he mentioned to me about the earthquakes that take place in Alaska. And I guess last year, or maybe even earlier this year, I don't think it was earlier. I think it was last year, they had a really big one and caused a lot of damage, big issue, blah, blah, blah. Did the whole earthquake thing. And I didn't think much of it. And at night, actually the next morning, I wake up really, really early. And I was laying in bed and I was trying to fall back asleep. And then suddenly I heard what sounded like somebody coming into the room. So I was staying in a hotel and it sounded like somebody opened up the door and was walking into the room. And I was still kind of in that half awake, half asleep space. And I'm like, I think that's crazy. That wasn't somebody coming into the room. Why would they be? And then right as my brain was like processing the sound, it felt like somebody came up and brushed the bed. Like somebody walked up to, like they were walking up to the bed and they like brushed against the bed. And it was completely pitch black because it's dark. And it freaked me the fuck out. I thought immediately that somebody was in the room and was right next to the fucking bed. My God. So I hurry up and like startle and turn on the lamp, totally expecting somebody and not even knowing what I was going to do. And there's nobody. The room's empty. And I was definitely afraid for a split second.
For a split second.
Yeah. And even longer than a split second because it lasted for a little bit. And then I was like, whatever. It was just chalk it up to, I don't even know what I chalked it up to. I was just like, whatever, that was weird. And then, but for whatever reason, I looked at my clock on my phone. I looked at the time and kind of made a mental note of what time it was. And then later in the morning, when I kind of like got my wits about me, I'm like, oh, I wonder. So then I Googled, and sure enough, there was an earthquake that was like an hour away from where I was. And it was, what did I say? Like a 5.0 or something. Yeah. So it was a pretty big earthquake that was relatively close. And that was just the earthquake making me freak the fuck out. But it was hilarious.
That was, you would have, like, I would have lost it.
Yeah, you would have.
I would have lost it, like, just enough. I don't like the feeling when you can feel somebody in the room with you or something, because sometimes you feel something.
That's totally what it felt like, too. It wasn't just the noise. It was like, it feels like something's here.
And maybe something was. It just happened to be when the earthquake was there. And so you're like, it's the earthquake.
Maybe the earthquake woke it up.
That's scary. Yeah, I would not have been okay. I don't know what I would have done if I would have not broken the lamp and like cut my feet running and knocking myself out trying to go through the wall. Who knows?
Yeah.
I would have been a stealth ninja. Would have flipped off the bed and like roundhoused while I was in the air and be like, whoa, landed
and
in a tiger stance.
And then you would have woken up from your unconsciousness of banging your head into the wall because you ran directly into it.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have probably called you too after because that would have helped while your state's away and been like, yeah.
Do you remember the last time you had a fright like that?
A fright? Well,
something like that was like, oh my God, I'm deathly afraid right now.
Deathly afraid? No. There's like definitely say they like to happen when you're gone, when the house will wake up sometimes. The last thing that got me though, I got a little spooked, and I was letting the dog out to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. When I came back to the room, there was enough like light shining through, not from day, just like moonlight or outside lights, whatever, shining through the curtains at night, that the way that they were falling in front of the window, it looked like the silhouette of the nun.
Oh.
And so I just told it, nope, and got in bed, pulled the covers and like, nope, not doing that, nope. And then that morning, like that's also the night that Asher woke up because he dreamt there was a humongous spider on his bed, and he came and he's like, there's a spider on my bed, and just like, anyways, he climbed in and went to sleep. I went and checked and there was nothing in his room, so figured I was kind of nervous we're gonna find a big spider, but no. And then I got up and then I was going, like I went to the bathroom and was coming out and trying to not wake him and trying to be quiet because I was up way earlier than he needed to be up. It was still dark, and I'm carefully opening the doors to not wake him, and it looks like, oh gosh, I can't remember. I saw something. I was like looking towards the front room as I'm opening our bathroom door. It like opens up towards the bedroom door. And I can see feet, and I think he's standing there. And I just like follow him up because I know it's Asher, but he's standing there not moving, and his head's cocked to the side with his chin down, just staring at me blank. And I was like, ah! And he laughed. He did it on purpose, little shit. He got me so good. But it was all that same night with the nun, and I'm like, no, and the dream of the spider, and then he's standing there like,
Nice.
Yeah, it coincided too. I think you were in Alaska, actually. I think you had a visitor. It was the nun. Son of a bitch. Okay, well, what are we going to do now? Get the sage, get the priest, no priest, never mind, get the sage. I need some crystals. Like, oh God, the veil is thin tonight. What are we going to do? Last time I was afraid, right now. Okay.
You're so fun to scare.
Yeah?
Yeah. For those listening, Stephanie is incredibly easy to scare.
I am not.
I literally have to do nothing other than look at her. I don't have to say anything. I don't even have to like look at her frighteningly.
Oh, bullshit.
Or scary.
You do a thing.
No.
You don't look at me like, hi, honey, how was your day?
I can do this. I can say, I'm going to scare you right now.
But you look at me
and then
in
you're
a
like,
way.
shut up. You're not going to scare me. And then that's all I have to say. And then I just have to look at you, and you're suddenly like, stop it.
You look at me in a way. You act like you just look at me. Just stand there and look at me. No, you look at me. You know what you do. You do this thing with your eyes. You do this thing with your body. You look at me. You move your head like Asher.
Sometimes.
You do this thing.
Sometimes I do that, and then other times it's totally just...
Okay, right now. Just keep that expression on your face.
I'm not going to scare you now.
You can't. Just with that expression. Don't like scare me. Don't change your face. I'll tell you. But don't change your face and just look at me.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't change your face.
I won't.
Don't change your eyes.
Well, the problem is that...
You see?
What?
You have to do something.
I do have to do something.
And that's...
But I can
boom, he admitted it. Mic drop.
I can go like dead face.
What?
I'll show you.
Okay.
Totally effective.
See, you're doing something.
I know, right?
See, you're doing something.
Exactly.
So that's, you can't say you're not doing it.
But
You're
see,
doing something
immediately you're like, oh, no, that's it.
I think something's coming.
No, stop it.
You're doing something in
You're
your
cute.
face. Yes.
So, yeah, it is Halloween, even though this will be released in November.
Here comes Halloween. Sorry.
You're okay. What are you going to do?
I'm going to take a drink.
Take a drink.
I was going to do that. Do you want to stop the podcast? Everybody, hold on. I'm taking a drink. Apparently, we cannot multitask.
Pull over if you're driving. We're going to need to pause momentarily while Stephanie not moisturizes, while she hydrates. So give the listeners some precursor to the email that we got from from the principal.
Precursor.
And I'm going to dig it up.
You're going to dig it up?
Oh my goodness.
Should I do precursor? I can only think of like straight to what it is. So it was the principal from junior high school, and there was a Halloween dance coming up that there was a letter going out. Now keep in mind, this is a Halloween dance that is a all over school function. They do have other incentive functions that they do. Incentive, not incentive. Shut up. Incentive functions that they do for students that are excelling in school, high grades, high honors. But the everyday school functions, this was just one of those that it came out with the email saying that if your child is not passing their classes, or they have an unsatisfactory, which you can get an unsatisfactory just for your grade or for not turning in homework, then they're not allowed to go to this dance. So saying the adults are judging your kids and saying they can't go, they're not welcome. And then it gets further to the email about the dance for the children that they have deemed worthy to go, and saying...
Well, let me read it.
You want to read it?
I'll just read it.
Okay, you're going to read the whole thing or just the punchline that I'm getting to? Did I cover the first portion enough?
You did cover the first portion, but I'll just read
same
the whole
email.
thing.
I'll same email.
Yeah, and you can go see this on my Instagram. I posted a snapshot of this. The end of term is tomorrow, October 23rd. The teachers and students are working hard at getting everyone to their desired final grade. Thank you for your support in helping your student, blah, 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 blah. The school dance is October 30th. Students cannot attend the dance if they have any user Fs, blah, blah, blah. This has been, our wonderful counselors have been having conversations this week about proper dance etiquette. They have been teaching students about how to best build strength to ask someone to dance and how to say yes. A lesson that we try to teach every year is to say yes, even if you don't want to.
Bam.
Dance with someone. A 3-minute dance doesn't mean you will be going out with the other person. As you could probably imagine, junior high dances can be very emotional time. Any sort of support you can provide in this area is greatly appreciated, blah, blah, blah. So that's the email that we got. We're not just us, but the entire, parent, student body, whatever. That email was sent out from the principal. So we had the biggest issue with just say yes. Even if you don't want to, just say yes. It's not going to kill you.
It's not going to kill you.
Just say yes at all costs, regardless. Say yes. So that was the big issue that we had. Tell me, beautiful woman of mine, when you first initially read that, what did you think?
I was livid. I was very, very upset. I couldn't believe it because you've seen the Facebook posts where they have things like that, but then you'll have people comment, that's how it was, forever ago. It's not really that now. And I just thought there's no way that this is really happening. There's no way in this day and age they're saying, say yes, even if you don't want to. There's no way. I was so mad. So I did this really fast, typed an email to you about it. And I think because you forwarded it to me and then I shot my reply to you and be like, and then I was so upset and so shocked and I was really in disbelief. How can this be a thing? How can this be a thing? Kids aren't worthy to do school functions and they're also not able to just say yes, even if you don't want to. It doesn't, no, you can't tell a kid that. You can't, anyways. So then I also had let's talk to Asher. Let's see what. And so I'm like, have they talked to you about what you're supposed to do if somebody asks you to the dance or to dance? And he's like, yes, you have to say yes. I'm like, that's bullshit, buddy. No, you don't. And then, rolled it back in. I'm like, tell me. It's like, you don't. And he says, then they'll tell the teacher and you'll get in trouble. That's the message these kids are getting. So we had a long discussion about how that is not the case. And unleash the mama.
No, so it brings up a lot of those issues that are currently being played out in the world and in society in regards to consent on a variety of different things. And the thought that somehow they're taking 12, 13, 14-year-olds and teaching them that they just need to say yes.
It's called grooming, I believe.
In a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though it's, that's the other thing is the whole flip side of it is we definitely can see, I can at least see the point of view and the perspective of it's not that big of a deal to just dance with somebody for 3 minutes. It's also important to cultivate, kindness and, do you know what I mean? All of those things are really good. I remember those school dances when I was his age. I remember what they felt like. I remember how nerve-wracking it was, how awkward it was, how uncomfortable it was. I hated asking girls to dance just because of the fear of being, told no.
But you survived.
I did survive.
Oh my God.
I did survive. It was all just super screwy.
So there was more conversations with Asher about it that we sat there and had. It makes complete sense to him,
To him?
Let me clarify that. Is as much having, we have daughters. I want them to be able to say no. We have a son. I want him to be able to say no. And also, you need to be able to hear no and not think, well, I'm entitled to a yes. It's just a few minutes. It won't be that bad. It's not going to kill you. You don't have to try too hard to see all the ways that can roll over. He can hear no. He can say no. The same with everybody. But one of the things I said is you ask somebody, and it's hard, and they say yes. Do you want them Like, what feels better? If they're saying yes because they want to say yes, or because they're going to get in trouble, or they have to say yes. And he like gave me this like weird look, like, you're crazy. It's like, I want them to mean it. Like, you don't want to dance with somebody that doesn't want to dance with you. If they're just saying yes because they have to.
Yeah.
Nobody
wants that.
It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good for anybody
Nobody
involved.
wants the pity dance.
And then what about the ones that are being bullied and that are being enforced and that are being like pressured, and now like, you have to dance with me, you'll get in trouble if you don't. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't know if that, sorry for what? For what the fuck?
Yes.
I don't know if that would have necessarily played out that way. I can't imagine seeing like 8th grade boys being like, you have to dance with me or else you'll get in trouble. Well,
I'm going to tell you, it's going to play out that way.
They're kind of that dumb. Yeah.
There is some crazy stuff. Asher's got crazy girls that are taking stuffed animals and slitting the throat and hanging it on the door because he broke up with her. There's some craziness going on out there. Does he have to say yes to her if she wants to dance?
Right?
No.
That would be the thing. You have to say yes to.
And she will not stop calling him.
Crazy little girl.
She's going to ask. And no, he doesn't have to say yes.
So Stephanie went in. No, you're good. Don't apologize. You're fine. She went in and talked to the principal. And how long were you there? Like an hour?
Yeah, I was there for a long time.
And went in and expressed some of our concerns. I'm digging through emails now.
Okay.
And here we go. A short while later, meaning like I think the next day or 2 days later, the principal issued another email. Dear parents and guardians, I want to clarify a statement I made in the email that went out on Tuesday, October 22nd. Our desire for all students to feel comfortable while attending the school dance next week. I hope when a student is asked by another student to dance, kindness and respect are shown to the person asking. It takes courage for an 11 to 13-year-old to ask someone to dance, and we believe that it is courteous to say yes. Your student has every right to tell someone no. I hope if they decline a request to dance with another student, it is with kindness and respect. And then he goes on to add some other bullshit that. So, what do you think, babe?
What do you think? I'm doing all the talking.
I think
you read
that
emails and I'm talking.
I think his response is nice. I think it's an effort that he attempted to make to rectify a situation that he was made aware of that was boneheaded. I still wish that there was a little bit more understanding of like the perspective, because like his statement in the email, it's like, if they say no, hopefully they do it in a kind, respectful way. None of those kids are like, they're all dumb as boxes of rocks. They're just not capable of clear communication that is full of kindness and respect. They're all knees and elbows and hormones. So the whole idea that somehow we're going to teach them, you don't learn that when you're 12 or 13, because your brain is a fucksville and you have just no capacity for anything other than like boobs, 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 boobs everywhere. So for you to be like, I'm talking about from the perspective of a 13-year-old boy.
I think there's, okay, go ahead. I'm ready to get my devil's advocate hat on. It's okay.
So I wish he would have been a little bit more clear as far as like, okay, this is no longer what we're going to be talking about or teaching kids or pushing upon your kids here at this school. It's very clear that they can say no to anything and everything. And you don't have to be nice. Like, that's the other thing. That is the whole thing of like, girls just, why don't you just smile
you don't
and be
want to
nice?
hurt their feelings.
Yeah, like fuck off.
Exactly.
I can be rude. I can be mean. I can do all of those things. Now, granted, it comes with consequences, right? If you're a bitch, people aren't going to want to hang out with you. If you're an asshole, right? It comes with consequences. But at the same time, you don't have to be nice just because of somebody else's feelings, especially in the space of like consent and your body and what you want, what you don't want. All of those things are totally fine.
You're totally groomed for that. Don't hurt their feelings.
Yeah.
You don't want to be rude. Don't hurt their feelings.
Yeah. He didn't get it right.
No, he didn't. But I think he's trying.
He is trying.
I think he's just can't see out of the box he's in.
Yeah, it's a very small box, especially here in Grantsville. What did I said something that you were going to devil's advocate.
Oh, yeah. For one, yeah, they are like crazy, but I'm sorry, Asher's pretty considerate. I mean, at one point he was telling me when he broke up with previously mentioned a crazy lady, which, you know, oh, you can't call them crazy because they're opinionated. No, like, I understand that, but when they're calling you nonstop, having the friends call you nonstop, showing up at your house with notes and like decapitated or throat slit, stuffed animals hanging from the door, I don't think it's just opinionated. Okay. We're not saying that's I mean,
she's just got a strong spirit,
right? I mean, like, back off. Anyways, he at one point told her, because like he tried to break up with her really nice and just kept it going. And he's like, I told her it wasn't her, it was me. And I'm like, where'd you learn that line? And then he was confused. Like, this is before this email came out. Like, it's not you, it's me. Where'd you learn that? He goes, it wasn't her. She didn't do anything wrong. I just didn't like her that way anymore. I just stopped liking her like that. And I was like, oh, you were being honest. That was so sweet. You know, then it was, so he was sweet. He tried to talk to her. What am I doing?
You just got to get your blanket away from the mic stand.
Sorry. I could hear it. I thought it was you. And then, no, he does not think boobs, 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 boobs. And I think that is such a, lowering.
I love you so much.
No, that is a way that you are minimizing men and saying that they are incapable of thinking other things than boobs, boobs, boobs. I don't believe it.
No, they're definitely
I'm not saying they're not
thinking
boobs, but they are thinking
the other
other
thing
things.
is butts.
Okay, no.
Baby,
No.
you have no idea what it's like when you're in
right.
8th grade.
But I also think that men have a more expansive mind than boobs and butts.
Men,
He's a little man.
not 13-year-old boys.
He does not constantly think boobs, butts.
You're right. Let's put it on a scale
And I don't
of
think all of them think that.
97% of the time at this point in his life, that's what
You
he's
realize
thinking
you're just
about.
helping?
And then the other 3%
They're saying
of the
that guys
time,
aren't
it's
capable
Fortnite.
of thinking other things. I don't agree with that.
And then 0.5% of the time, well, maybe 90% of the time, boobs and butts. And then 5% Fortnite, and then 5% food. Feed me. I want more food. I'm hungry. And that's it.
You know what he says to me when we drive to school? He points out the mountains and how beautiful they are.
It's because they look like boobs.
And then he says that they're so beautiful that it's almost like they're not real. Like, it's got to be a painting of Craig because it's so beautiful. It stuns him, the beauty of the mountains.
I love you so much. I love how you come to the defense of the boy.
It's because he has a brilliant mind and he's beautiful and he thinks all these things. And then he sees pretty girls and he gets that cute little smile. Because then that part of the time he's thinking boobs and butts.
Yeah.
I know.
And that's
I
totally
don't think
fine.
he doesn't think boobs and butts. I just know that.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong if he's thinking about it all the time at school.
There's not. But he's not. He has other things in his brain.
Oh, my goodness. I love you so much.
And it's not just my special son. I believe all of those boys are capable of thinking and do think of more than just boobs and butts.
You're right. They do.
Why am I advocating for the boys more than you?
It's not
Come
that
on now.
it's not an advocating for the boys. It's just a realization of that's what it's like when you're 13 in junior high school.
Okay.
Because
I'll listen to somebody who's
all
been a
of your
13-year-old boy.
hormones, all of them, all of them,
All of them.
come online at the same moment.
Okay, I need some guys to feed, I don't know what, feedback. I need to hear from more guys if, when you're 13, if that is really the only thing your mind can handle.
If you're around girls, if you're around, at school, right?
All you think is boobs and butts.
All you think is boobs and butts.
Seriously?
Yeah. Like you walk down the hall, boobs and butts. You're in class. It's everywhere.
Really?
Yeah. It's all you can think of. And yes, there's times it's the type of thing where suddenly if maybe you get distracted with something else and they're not in your field of vision, then maybe you might be like dodgeball, basketball. But then as soon as they come within the field of vision, boobs and butts, boobs and butts, boobs and butts. Oh wait, dodgeball. We're playing dodgeball because you get hit in the head or something like that. But it's totally normal.
Okay.
It's fine. That's just the way 13-year-old boys work. So it's okay. He'll grow out of it.
You laugh. Do you always think boobs and butts?
No, of course I do not.
Oh my God, you so do.
I do not. I don't.
Do you sometimes get distracted? Like, oh, dodgeball, wife's present. Oh, never mind. Boobs and butts. Like, what happens? Oh, look at the face.
You want to tell that story?
Can I?
You can if you want.
No,
It's pretty funny.
It's fine.
It's really funny, actually.
It is one of the most endearing moments. It made me.
You think it's endearing?
Oh my God, so endearing. You were
heavens.
adorable. It was so cute. I loved it. And I loved when we were in the presence again and just that little bit of teasing you. Because, oh my God.
Now you have to tell the story.
Can I?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my God, I loved it. I'm going to tell my perspective. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to have to jump in. We're going to have to tell this together.
Okay, then I'll tell mine.
Well, we'll just do it together.
Okay.
So we were getting some dinner. We were by the sushi counter.
We're at the grocery store.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's like, do you want the story to be good or you want it to be we're at the grocery store. We're getting some dinner. And then all of a sudden you just I don't know what happened to you. Like your brain just fell right out of your ass. You were just done. And you're like, what are we doing here? Like there was a lady that was just walking by you with a cart and you were trying to move. You couldn't figure out how to move around. You're like, what are we doing here? I don't even know. I'm like, we're getting food. Like, do you want, what do you want? I don't know. And you were just so weird and scattered. And I was like, I had no idea what had just happened to you. And it was weird. And then I was like, oh my gosh, maybe I don't want to be around you right now. Because you were just bouncing all over, just so weird. You couldn't think. And then we were in the checkout line. I don't even know. Did we end up buying sushi or not that day? I don't know. It was just it was time to go. It was weird. And then we get out to the van. And as soon as we get in the van, you were like, okay, maybe. Because you were like a 14-year-old. You were like a kid. You're like, do you know what happened? Do you know what that was? I'm like, no. And I'll let you tell this part.
So we're at the grocery store.
We're starting from the beginning.
Walking
Okay.
around minding our own business, shopping, doing just the normal routine. And suddenly, out of nowhere, this woman comes into my field of vision. And it dawns on me that I recognize her. I know her. She went to high school with me. And this is embarrassing.
No, you got this.
But I recognize her. And I realize, because we live in this small town. And it's the same small town that I grew up in. So I see people all the time that I grew up with and that I recognize and that I know. I haven't seen this girl since high school.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Haven't seen her since high school.
You've seen her twice now.
Anyways.
Keep going.
So I haven't seen her in 20 plus years. And she comes across my field of vision.
20 plus years. Seriously?
And I realize suddenly the wheels start clicking and I'm like, that's that girl. And the reason she's significant is when I was a freshman in high school, she
14,
was
right?
14 years old. When I was 14 years old, she was the first woman whose breasts I saw in real life. The first real boobs that I ever saw. And not only saw, but also got to...
Got to what? Did she let you touch her boobs?
Yes. Anyways,
You
so
are
she comes across
blushing.
the field of vision, and I realize suddenly that that's her. And then my brain...
Was it the same boobs? Did she...
My brain just went and broke for a moment because it took me back to 14 years old and suddenly flashing to all of those things and all of those moments and all of that stuff. It was a very brief weekend tryst that her and I had.
That makes it sound like you went away together.
On a it was an away trip. It was a
School function.
a school function where we had to travel out of town and stay at a hotel for some drama competition. And so it was just a weekend fling that 20 years later...
Had you tripping over your wife and be like, oh my God, I saw those boobs. Boobs.
So yeah,
Cute.
it was pretty
so
funny.
Cute. You were you had that big smile. You had rosy cheeks. You were blushing. It was like, holy shit. You've seen a lot of boobs since then, but we've been in the presence of boobs that you've been around. And that was the first effect. And then a month later or something, it wasn't that much long. We were at the park parade. It was the 4th of July, I think. And you're like, you see that woman over there? You see that woman? I think it was brown shirt or something. I don't know, brown shirt. And kind of pointed, and I look over and I see one. I'm like, is that her? Is that the one? You're like, that's boobs.
Oh, that's right. When we were sitting at the park. Yeah.
So it was adorable. It was adorable.
Yeah.
It was cute. You forgot your name. You didn't know why we were at the store. You couldn't think, and you could. I'm surprised you.
That's the impact that breasts have on a 14-year-old boy. That's what happens.
So, again, if I could get some feedback from men, how much do you remember the first boobs that you saw and got a touch?
I can almost guarantee you they all do. I can almost guarantee I am not unique in this.
Well, I just like, it's fascinating to me.
We should start a poll. If what could be like, what would be the purpose of that poll? But we could definitely get some
curiosity.
There you go.
Like,
yeah, I'm not alone in this. I guarantee that they remember.
It was so cute, babe. It was so cute. I loved seeing you like that, and just it was so much fun. It was so cute that it was, and it's even cuter that like I just assumed you had seen her in the small town, but it had been 20 years and you remembered and you went right back. It was like PTSD in the best way possible. It was awesome. You were so cute.
It was funny.
It was really funny.
I haven't seen her in a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird.
It was cute.
It was cute.
It was way cute.
Podcast over. No, I'm teasing. So, consent is important.
Consent is important. She said yes. She instructed you. She said you can.
She very much said yes at the time.
Yes.
She was not. She was. She was very much saying yes.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I feel like it could have went further.
I was very much like, what is going on here? Hold on to the roller coaster. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna go with this. Yeah.
And then 20 years later, my wife and I will have a really good conversation.
Yeah, that wasn't in my head at the time.
I know that. I'm trying to be funny.
Oh, you're cute.
No, you don't.
You are funny. What else, baby? Anything else about the email?
Anything else
about the principal's snafu?
I'm not happy about it. And I'm curious of like, there's just so many. I would like to see real change. And I'm sad that, that I think it's just perpetuating the way things used to be.
Old thoughts and old beliefs and old schools of thoughts.
Yeah.
Like it's a school of thought that's the right way to go about doing things and to teach.
And it's weird because
important lessons and things like that.
Well, I don't think he was being a jerk.
No, I don't either.
He was being he was very heartfelt. But it's like, let's try and grow. Let's try and expand our minds a little bit. Let's look at this.
What would be not necessarily the alternative, but let's think about if we are administrators at a junior high school and we haven't killed ourselves already, because that would be a horrible job. What would you, and you're thinking of something to prepare the children for the dance, do we just ignore it and let them figure it out? Or do we want to provide them with some sort of instructions or lesson about the dance that's coming up this weekend? And then what would that look like? Like, what's best? To just let them figure it out on their own like we did back in the day? Or
I guess you could do that. I have an idea, though.
Let's hear it.
Like, if you're going to make it a point to go out there, and I think it carries over, if you want to say yes, say yes. If you want to, if you're afraid to because of popularity or what your friends may say, or if they say, those things, like, don't let that stop your yes. If you want to say yes, say yes. And if you don't want to say yes, if you want to say no, say no. Own your yeses, own your nos. Nobody can tell you what to think. Nobody can tell you what to feel. You know what you think and feel. Listen to yourself. What do you want to do? Do you want to ask this person? Do you want to say yes to this person? Like, own yourself. Trust yourself and what you want. What I would encourage.
Do you want to add anything on there about being nice to the other person?
I don't. I don't like bullying. I don't think that I think it's really hard when you go out of your way to be horrible to somebody. But I would say if somebody asks you that you don't want to say it, if somebody asks you that you say no to, it doesn't matter how you say no. But I don't think you should then start to make fun of them or get your friends to make fun of them for asking. Like, I don't have tolerance for that. But you get to, so I wouldn't say be nice, just don't use it as a way to attack them.
I agree with you. This is something that it's coming up for me now as I'm thinking about this, because I posted about this on Facebook too, and a bunch of people commented and shared their thoughts and whatnot about it. I don't think we know what the fuck we're talking about.
True.
Because they are going to school in a time period that is vastly different than when you and I went to school in a time period, right? So all the people that commented on my Facebook posts and things like that don't know what the hell they're talking about, because they're around our same age, they're adults, right?
Yeah. There was some comments on there that I thought, do you just like to hear yourself talk?
I know which one you're talking about. But I mean, we really don't understand what it's like to be children and teenagers in today's world.
We don't.
Because it's so different, right? It's so completely different. And I think that there's a lot of things that make it different. But the fact that, like, I mean, just the simple things of like cell phones, social media, the ability to text, to have contact with your entire friends group, you know, pictures and video chats and everything like that nonstop, 24 hours a day. That's so foreign and bizarre. And they have had that from the time that they
That's
were.
all they've known, yeah.
So I don't think we really have any idea what it's like to exist in that world. So the concepts and ideas that we're trying to bring forth and be like, back in our day, like, kids just need to learn to say no, or like if they say no, like, you know, deal with it, and all these kind of different things. Or,
I don't think I'm pulling from back in our day. I don't think I'm doing that.
I don't either, but I think we're also trying to pull from today with our experience from the past. And so it doesn't work or fully work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can say there's no way you can not take what you've learned and what you've experienced and apply it to where you're at. But I just feel like so much of that shit isn't needed anymore. So why are they trying to, I feel like they're trying to keep it back in the day. I don't feel like that's where my mindset's coming from.
Yeah, that's very true.
But I don't know. Like, I'm open, like, help me understand more.
I don't know. I'm just sitting here thinking about it. And I mean, there's a part of it that is always going to kind of be the same, right? Where you're going to have awkward teenagers or preteen kids trying to like awkwardly communicate and connect with each other. And the fact that we have cell phones and Instagram and all that kind of shit doesn't necessarily change that awkwardness that is just natural, because that's the way that it goes. But I think that trying to circumvent that awkwardness or trying to stop some of those uncomfortable things from happening, or whatever the case may be, it's super silly. I think the better thing to do is just let them figure it out on their own. I think it's
sex?
No, not sex. I think that's different.
Well, that's kind of like, what do you just throw them in the fire and be like, that sounds like you're just throwing them in a lake and telling them swim or drown.
Well, like with sex, we could definitely talk to them about consent, and we could talk to them about pleasures of sex and enjoyment.
But it starts on the...
Right? We can talk to them about all of those things. And then that conversation can help in this conversation. But to try to have a conversation about, like, you have to be nice and say yes regardless for a dance.
They're making them say yes to allowing somebody, like, if it's a fast dance, maybe you're not touching, but basically for somebody to touch you, you have to say yes while they touch you.
I get it.
Okay, I'm having a hard time following.
I don't know if I'm having a hard time with the thought myself. It's not really making sense. I'm just sitting here thinking that we don't really know what it's like.
We absolutely do not know what it's like.
And the principal doesn't really know what it's like.
No, he's got his own perspective from
he's trying to do the best
ago.
that he can, right? Mm-hmm. I have no idea what the poor kid deals with and how frustrating it may be. I can imagine, right? Yeah. And I can pretend to understand because I have some experience from my life, but I have no idea. It's got to be nuts.
Yeah, rumor spread
super crazy.
was word of mouth, not horrible posts. Maybe you'd get a letter in your locker as opposed to like being hounded continuously on your phone by tons of people and posts about you. Like
instantaneous, right?
The torment that just comes with like, I don't know what that's like.
Yeah, I don't either. That's not good.
No.
However, this is the other thing. Like we say that that's not good and we recognize that that's a problem. And we've had this conversation in one way, shape, or form before too, but where that's also like the reality of life, right? That's where we're at. And like that technology isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And times are a-changing.
I know.
So we just got to deal with it and let them figure out how to deal with it to some degree.
To some degree.
I don't know.
But we can empower them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The apocalypse just needs to happen.
Oh, God, why do you always go back to that? You haven't said it for a while. It's been nice. I have not missed.
Apocalypto Craig.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not. No.
Well, the saga is over as far as we're concerned for the most part. Are we marching?
We're not marching, but maybe.
Maybe we might march. We might get
This goes into the stupid ass dress code that they have and everything that only the girls are like have to, like the boys can't. That's why I got so mad at you, like boobs and butts, because the girls have to wear shorts to their knees and they can't have their shoulders seen. They can't wear sleeveless. And oh my gosh, if they can, any part, if they're even the scoop on their neck is just wide on the shoulders where you see a bra strap, they're going to get sent home. That has happened.
I know.
That's bullshit.
It's very asinine.
So they can't do that. It's their responsibilities to help the boy think. It's too distracting for the boys. And then you say boobs and butts. I'm like, no, they can think more than boobs and butts.
They can think more than boobs and butts. And the way that we fix that, go ahead.
No, the way that we fix that
is to go like way back, when they're kids and fix society's, not obsession, but the way that we treat boobs and butts. Boobs are simply boobs. And
butts are simply butts. Everybody's got butts.
Right?
Yeah. So, but what can we do starting now? So instead of saying, well, we need to go back or this, like freaking Marianne Williamson has the thing of like, let's teach them to read by this age. But after they're past that point, we're not going to focus on that because they're already lost. We just need to focus on this age group. Like, what can we do now for these kids now? So we couldn't teach them that boobs are just boobs, whatever. So what do we do now?
Yeah, I don't know what we do now other than the best that we can with our kid our kids.
I think that
we got a couple
men of any age are strong enough to handle themselves and not lose all impulse if they happen to see a bra strap or a shoulder. Good God. 3 inches above the knee. Those poor boys can't. I don't believe that. It's bullshit. It's insulting. It's horrible for the women to get the information that it's up to them to keep the men on track, that they're sexual objects and they have to keep themselves composed so the men can focus and their school isn't important. They can be sent home to change so they don't distract the boys. And then the boys just say, it's okay. You're just a male. It's okay. Your brain isn't strong enough to handle that. So you can't handle your impulses. That's okay. You're not meant for more than that. Go make money, bitch. You can't handle. So as long as those women don't distract you, you'll be all right.
Baby, I agree with you.
I said, God.
It's frustrating. And I think it's a thing that will change slowly over time. But I think the way that it does is like, we really have to normalize sex and nudity and our bodies and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. So
that it's no longer some big taboo-y thing. So outside of just trying to normalize nudity from an early age, which sounds very weird, even though it's not, and fixing consent at junior high school dances, can you think of anything else that we could do to solve the world's problems?
Free healthcare.
Yes. Definitely free healthcare.
For all health.
For everything.
Yeah.
Free healthcare, free mental health care, everything.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah.
That would be a platform to run on. We could normalize nudity. So you could do, because you're going to be running, not me. I want to be the first Mr. President. What is it?
The first man.
Yeah, I want to be the first man. So you're going to have to do all of your speeches and all the debates topless so that you're normalizing nudity and just free the nips.
Free the nips.
And then
the whole thing, or just
everything.
the nips? Like,
All
is
of
it the shirt with the holes for the
That would be
nips, or
hilarious.
just like
a whole business suit, like nice, and then you just have your boobs cut out with the nips hanging.
just the nips?
Oh God, that'd be so funny. I like it.
Okay, well, you know what I'm going for Halloween next year. Spoiler alert.
No, not yet. You could, I guess,
I
right?
think it's legal,
Yeah.
right?
And then
I'll run it by Janelle, see what she thinks.
And then free healthcare.
Yeah.
And then free healthcare. That's your platform for 2024, when our next presidential election comes up.
All right.
That would be good.
All right, let's do this. You heard it here, people. I'm not saying I'm announcing, but
One of the things I want to tease on our podcast, we're coming up to the end of this year, right?
yes,
The end of, what year is this?
2019.
Yeah. The year that shall not be named.
Yeah.
And you and I have done an incredible job of recording week after week after week after week after week, with a couple of exceptions. I think maybe one or two, right? It hasn't been that many that we've missed.
We've done really well. You said this was our thing, and it's
Yeah.
been.
We'd set it as a goal at the beginning of the year, and we've done a wonderful job. And now we've got like maybe 8 episodes left, 8 or 9 episodes
Oh my
left.
gosh, is that it?
Yeah.
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah. Because this is November, even though we're recording this on Halloween. But yeah,
That's exciting.
that is exciting. But I want to tease one of the things that I want to do continually with this podcast is you and I are very unique in our relationship and very special. And the things that make you and I special and unique, I want to share some of those. I want to talk about some of those.
Okay.
I want to talk about what you and I have been able to do in the space of connecting with one another and what makes us unique.
Okay.
Can you think of one off the top of your head?
I'm super funny and keep you laughing all the time. And I don't think a lot of people are as funny as I am. So
That is very unique to you. One of the things that we recently hit upon in our relationship and our deep levels of ongoing communication day in and day out is there is safety and honesty. Mm-hmm. That was something that you said. I don't remember. It wasn't that long ago.
it wasn't that long.
And elaborate on that if you would. Beautiful woman of mine.
When you speak the truth and hear the truth, no matter what it is, doesn't matter whether it's what you want to hear or not. Like, it's not just when it goes your way. When it hurts beautifully, when it builds, when it bonds, when it destroys, when it's the absolute truth, you don't have to question. You don't have to play is this real? Is this really what you should do? Is this really what this person wants? Is this really what I want? You trust yourself because you know that you're speaking your truth, and you trust the other person because they're not just going to only tell you the things that they think you want to hear. They're going to tell you the hard stuff. So when you have somebody that you're completely honest with, no matter what, and they're completely honest with you, you feel closer. You feel closer and safer because you can 100% trust what they mean, trust what they say, trust what they feel, trust their yeses, trust their no's.
When you said that, I thought about it for days afterwards, and I've been thinking about it since, and I don't know if I ever really grasped that fully and completely. I never really thought about it that way, that there's safety in honesty, in truth, right? And how safe you feel when I am honest with you and when I am truthful with you. And that just like opened up a whole big, beautiful Pandora's box for me of awesomeness. And I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense. And then I could think about it from my perspective as well, and how, oh yeah, I really do feel safe when I feel like you are being honest with me, when you are being truthful with me, when it's clear that that's what you're doing. So it was really, really cool. Now, how does that relate to our relationship and what makes us unique and special? It's because you and I continually find nuggets of stuff like that through our connection and communication that jump out, that become these really cool, profound things that help us with our deepening bond and communication and connection, which I think is awesome.
I do too.
And I'm grateful for it.
Me too.
So We're going to have, that's just a sneak peek. We're going to have more of things like that to come in future episodes of the Energy is Love podcast. Bam.
I'm excited. So are we going to keep doing it?
The podcast?
Well, like our goal was once a week. Like, are we going to
I don't see why not for 2020.
Are we just going to keep it up?
Yeah, I think we can.
Do you want to?
Absolutely, I want to.
Are you having fun?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love releasing and recording, and I think a weekly thing is the way to go.
Yeah.
Even though it's work.
Even though it is work. Well, I mean, I've got the cake part. I don't have to do any of the editing and all of that stuff.
You just have to show up and talk.
I just have to show up and topic.
And top
and that alone is very difficult at times. All right, do you want to keep doing monthly stretches?
Yeah.
I know October kind of was like,
we went off the rails. Huh?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, we should still do monthly stretches.
Do you want to?
Yeah. Do you have one for November?
I've got 2 that I'm going to throw out there for you.
Okay, let's hear it.
Because I'm serious
Okay.
always. Is it a no shave November or naughty November? Or both?
Which one? Let's do both. Are you willing to stop shaving everything? And I will.
That's not a challenge for you, so never mind. That's dumb.
Well, I'm not. I don't have to. The only thing I'd have to do to my face is trim my mustache, so then it doesn't get into my mouth, because that is nails on a chalkboard for me.
Well, I guess if you're gonna trim, I'm gonna trim
your mustache.
Asshole. I was thinking my others.
Let's do the.
I don't think
no shave November. Yeah. It's just a month.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe.
I'm
gonna go shave. I'm gonna go shave everything right now.
Start with a clean slate for November 1st.
It's gonna be like a slip and slide. Everything's just gonna. Oh God, never mind. Take it out.
That's what she said too.
No.
Take it out.
Okay, I'm done.
I love you, baby.
I love you too.
Happy Halloween.
Nope. And got in bed, pulled the covers, and like, nope, not doing that. Nope.
You don't learn that when you're 12 or 13 because your brain is a Foxville.
Unleash the mama. It was like PTSD in the best way possible.